The moment the lights fade, something in the air changes. Conversations stop mid-sentence. Phones lower. Even the judges seem to pause, as if instinct tells them to pay attention. A name is called, soft but clear, and from the side of the stage a young Filipino boy walks forward. He looks small under the massive lights, but his steps are steady. There's nervousness in his smile, yes, but there's also determination. The kind that comes from someone who has waited a long time for one chance. He reaches the microphone and stands still. For a few seconds, he says nothing. He breathes. And in that silence, his thoughts drift far away from this grand stage, back to a modest home where dreams were born quietly. A place where nights were long, money was tight, and music was the only thing that made everything feel lighter. That's where he first heard Elvis Presley, not through a fancy sound system, but through an old radio that crackled with every song. Those songs didn't just entertain him. They gave him courage. Growing up, he learned early that life doesn't always give you space to dream. There were expectations, responsibilities, and moments when hope felt like a luxury. But whenever he sang, the world made sense again. He practiced when no one was watching, sang when no one was listening, and believed when there was no proof that believing would pay off. The judges smile politely as the music begins. They've seen talent before. They've seen confidence, nerves, excitement. What they don't expect is truth. The first note leaves his lips, and instantly the room feels different. His voice isn't loud, it's honest. It carries weight. It carries a story. And suddenly, the judges aren't just listening, they're feeling. As the song continues, the boy seems to grow into the stage. His posture straightens. His fear loosens its grip. Each lyric sounds personal, as if he's lived every word. The audience leans in. Some exchange looks of disbelief. Others feel their throats tighten without knowing why. This isn't a child pretending to be a legend. This is a child channeling emotion far beyond his years. There's a moment when his voice wavers slightly. Just for a second. The kind of moment where everything could fall apart. But instead of stopping, he pushes through. That tiny crack makes the performance even more real. Because everyone in that room knows what it feels like to be scared and to keep going anyway. Then comes the turning point. The music builds. The pressure rises. He closes his eyes and gives everything he has. When the powerful note rings out, the silence shatters. Applause crashes like a wave. People stand without realizing they've stood. Judges look at each other in disbelief. One of them presses their lips together, fighting tears. The boy finishes the song and lowers the microphone. For a heartbeat, there's quiet. Then the cheers return, louder than before. He bows his head slightly, overwhelmed. His hands are shaking, but this time, it's joy. Pure, undeniable joy. The judges speak, but their words feel secondary to the moment itself. They talk about bravery, about soul, about how rare it is to witness something so genuine. One of them tells him that performances like this don't come from technique alone, they come from life. Backstage, when he finally calls home, his voice breaks before his mother's does. She cries. He laughs through tears. No trophies have been won yet, but something far more important has already happened. He has been seen. He has been heard. And for everyone watching, from their homes, their phones, their own quiet struggles, this story becomes more than entertainment. It becomes proof. Proof that talent doesn't need permission. That dreams don't check your background before showing up. That sometimes, all it takes is one brave moment to change everything. If this story touched you, if you felt even a spark of hope while watching this boy sing his heart out, don't let that feeling fade. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Stay connected. Because stories like this remind us that somewhere, right now, another dream is waiting for its chance, and when it arrives, the world might just stop and listen. Before the spotlight turns on, before the first note is sung, there is a quiet moment that almost no one notices. A moment where a young Filipino boy stands alone at the edge of the stage, listening to his own breathing. His hands are cold. His heart is loud. And somewhere deep inside him is a question he has asked himself many times before: what if this is my only chance? The stage lights rise, and suddenly he is visible to everyone. The crowd settles. The judges look up. To them, he is just a kid, small, shy, and standing in a space built for giants. But what they cannot see is the road that brought him here. The long walks home. The quiet evenings. The moments when dreams felt bigger than reality. He steps toward the microphone, and for a brief second, he freezes. Not because he forgot the song, but because he remembers everything. The tiny house where his family shared hope more than comfort. The old radio that never sounded perfect but always felt magical. That was where he first heard Elvis Presley. Not as a legend, not as an icon, but as a voice that felt fearless. A voice that made him believe he could be more than what the world expected of him. Growing up, he learned early that talent alone doesn't guarantee anything. There were days when singing felt pointless. Days when people smiled politely and said, "It's nice, but be realistic." Yet every night, when the house was quiet, he sang anyway. Softly. Honestly. Because singing wasn't about attention, it was about survival. The music begins, and the first note leaves his lips. Instantly, the atmosphere changes. This isn't a child copying a classic song. This is a child telling his truth through music. His voice carries emotion that doesn't come from training, but from experience. The kind of emotion you can't fake and can't teach. The judges lean forward without realizing it. The audience grows still. Some people feel a lump in their throat and don't know why. His voice isn't just heard, it's felt. Each lyric sounds like a memory. Each pause feels intentional. It's as if he's speaking directly to every person who ever felt small in a big world. As the song moves forward, his confidence builds. His posture changes. His fear loosens its grip. He starts to believe what he's singing. And the audience starts to believe in him. Then comes the moment of doubt. His voice shakes slightly. Just for a second. It's the kind of second where everything could fall apart. But instead of stopping, he breathes and continues. That tiny crack makes the performance even more powerful because it reminds everyone that courage isn't about being perfect. It's about continuing when you're scared. The music rises. The room holds its breath. He closes his eyes and sings the note that matters most. It's strong. It's clear. It's fearless. And when it lands, the silence breaks into thunderous applause. People stand up. Judges stand up. Some clap. Some wipe their eyes. All of them understand they've just witnessed something rare. The boy finishes the song and lowers the microphone. His hands tremble, not from fear, but from relief. From joy. From the realization that, for once, the world listened. The judges speak, but their words are secondary to the feeling in the room. They talk about authenticity. About heart. About how performances like this don't come from wanting fame, but from loving music deeply. One judge tells him that moments like these are why this stage exists. Backstage, when he finally gets a moment alone, he calls home. His voice cracks when he says hello. His mother cries before he finishes speaking. No prize has been given yet. No title won. But something more important has already happened: belief has been restored. And for everyone watching this unfold, the message is clear. Dreams don't ask where you come from. They don't check your age, your bank account, or your background. They only ask one thing: will you be brave enough to try? If this story made you feel something, if you saw yourself in this boy's journey, don't let that feeling fade. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Stay connected. Because stories like this remind us that sometimes, one voice is enough to prove that hope is still alive. And somewhere, right now, another kid is singing into the silence, waiting for the world to listen. Before the spotlight ever touches him, before the audience knows his name, a young Filipino boy stands just behind the curtain, listening to the sound of his own heart. It beats fast, not from fear alone, but from hope. The kind of hope that grows quietly in places where life is not easy and dreams feel almost dangerous to believe in. This stage is bigger than anything he has ever known, yet he steps forward, carrying years of silent effort with him. The lights come on. The crowd settles. The judges look up. To them, he is just a child, small, soft-spoken, and standing in a space that has tested thousands before him. But what they cannot see are the early mornings, the long evenings, and the moments when music was the only thing that made sense. He grips the microphone gently, as if afraid it might disappear, and takes a deep breath. In that breath lives his past. A modest home. Thin walls. An old radio that worked only when it wanted to. That radio introduced him to Elvis Presley, not as a legend, but as a feeling. Strength. Confidence. Freedom. Whenever the world felt too heavy, those songs made him feel lighter. They told him that even someone from nowhere could become someone unforgettable. The judges exchange polite smiles as the music begins. They expect nerves. They expect sweetness. What they don't expect is honesty. The first note leaves his lips, and something shifts. His voice carries emotion far beyond his age. It isn't loud, and it isn't perfect, but it's real. And real has a way of reaching places technique never can. The audience grows still. People stop moving. Some lean forward without realizing it. The boy sings as if the song belongs to him, as if every word is stitched into his life. Each lyric sounds like a memory. Each pause feels intentional. He isn't trying to impress, he's trying to express. As the performance continues, his fear begins to fade. His shoulders relax. His voice steadies. Confidence doesn't rush in all at once, it grows slowly, note by note. The judges' expressions change. They are no longer evaluating, they are listening. Truly listening. Then comes a fragile moment. His voice trembles slightly. Just a crack. Just enough to remind everyone that this is a human being standing on that stage. For a split second, doubt flickers. But instead of stopping, he breathes and continues. And in that choice, to keep going despite the fear, the audience connects completely. Because everyone knows what it feels like to stand on the edge and choose courage. The music builds. The room feels tense. He closes his eyes and sings the note that matters most. It's strong. Clear. Unafraid. When it lands, the silence breaks into thunder. Applause erupts. People rise to their feet. Judges stand, stunned. Some smile. Some wipe their eyes. All of them understand they've just witnessed something rare. The boy finishes and lowers the microphone. His hands shake, but this time it's not fear, it's relief. Joy. The realization that for the first time, the world didn't just hear him, it felt him. The judges speak about heart, about authenticity, about how moments like this cannot be taught. One of them says that stages like this exist for voices like his, not because they are perfect, but because they are true. Later, away from the lights, he calls home. His voice breaks when he says hello. His mother cries. His family listens in disbelief. No trophy has been handed over yet, but something far greater has already been won, belief. And for everyone watching from the other side of the screen, this story becomes more than entertainment. It becomes a reminder that dreams don't check your background. That talent can grow in the quietest places. That sometimes, all it takes is one brave moment to change everything. If this story touched you, if you felt hope rise as this boy sang his heart out, don't let that feeling fade. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Stay with us. Because somewhere right now, another dream is waiting for its moment, and when it arrives, the world just might stop and listen and the moment feels ordinary at first. The stage lights glow softly, the audience settles into their seats, and the judges prepare for yet another audition. No one expects anything special. But sometimes, the most extraordinary stories begin when expectations are low. From the side of the stage, a young Filipino boy walks forward. He is small, almost swallowed by the size of the room, but there is something steady in his steps. He pauses at the microphone, adjusts it carefully, and looks out at the crowd. His hands tremble slightly. Not because he doesn't know what to do, but because this moment carries everything he has worked for. As he stands there, his mind drifts far from the bright lights and expensive cameras. He thinks of home. A simple place, filled with love but not many comforts. Evenings where the air was warm and quiet, and an old radio played songs that felt bigger than the walls around him. That's where he first fell in love with the voice of Elvis Presley. Those songs made him feel brave. They made him believe that confidence could be learned, and that strength could be sung into existence. Growing up, singing was never about fame. It was about release. When days were hard and words failed him, music spoke instead. He sang when no one was listening. He sang when doubt crept in. He sang because it made him feel like his dreams were valid, even when the world felt uncertain. The music begins. Soft. Familiar. The judges sit back, ready to listen politely. Then the first note comes out and the room changes. His voice carries emotion that surprises everyone. It's not loud or flashy. It's deep. Honest. Filled with something real. Conversations stop. Pens pause. Eyes lift. As he continues, the boy forgets where he is. The stage fades away. There is only the song and the story inside it. Every lyric feels personal, as if he's opening his heart for strangers to see. The audience leans in, drawn not by perfection, but by sincerity. The judges exchange glances. This is no longer just an audition. This is a connection. His voice sounds older than his years, shaped by experience, patience, and quiet resilience. You can hear the nights he practiced alone. You can feel the hope he carried into this room. Halfway through, his voice wavers. Just slightly. A fragile moment. The kind that could break everything. But instead of stopping, he breathes and keeps going. That decision, to continue despite fear, makes the performance even more powerful. Because everyone watching understands that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward with it. The music builds toward its peak. The room grows tense. He closes his eyes and sings the note that defines the performance. It rings out, strong and clear. And when it lands, silence follows, just for a heartbeat. Then the applause erupts. The audience stands. The judges rise from their chairs. Some smile in disbelief. Some wipe away tears they didn't expect. This isn't about a child singing a classic song anymore. This is about witnessing someone step into who they are meant to be. The boy finishes and lowers the microphone. His hands shake, but now it's from emotion. Relief. Joy. Pride. He bows slightly, overwhelmed by the response. The judges speak about heart, about authenticity, about how moments like this are rare. One of them tells him that talent can be taught, but what he showed today comes from life. Later, backstage, he finally allows himself to breathe. He calls home. His voice cracks as he speaks. On the other end of the line, his family listens in tears. This moment belongs to all of them, the sacrifices, the patience, the belief that never faded. And for everyone watching from home, this performance becomes something more. A reminder that dreams don't belong to a certain age or place. That greatness can rise from the quietest corners. That sometimes, all it takes is one voice, one song, and one brave step forward. If this story inspired you, if you felt something while watching this boy sing his heart out, don't let that feeling disappear. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Stay connected. Because stories like this remind us that hope is real and it's singing, somewhere, right now. The lights drop before anyone expects them to, and for a split second the whole theater holds its breath. You can almost hear the hum of the crowd, the judges shifting in their chairs, the quiet whisper that says, "This is just another audition." But then a small figure steps into the spotlight, shoes a little too big, shoulders squared like he's carrying something far heavier than a microphone. Before he even sings, you feel it, the sense that whatever happens next will be remembered. Stay with this moment, because by the time the last note fades, you'll understand why some performances don't just entertain, they change people. He's a Filipino kid, barely tall enough to reach the mic without standing on his toes. Backstage, minutes earlier, his hands were shaking. Not because he didn't know the song, but because he knew exactly what it meant to him. At home, music wasn't a luxury, it was an escape. When the power went out and the nights felt endless, his father would hum old melodies. When the rain hit the tin roof and money felt tight, his mother would smile and say, "Sing, Anik. Sing like the world is listening." Elvis wasn't just a voice on an old radio, Elvis was hope, swagger, confidence, everything this kid dreamed of becoming. The judges glance at one another when he shares his name and age. There's kindness there, but also that familiar doubt. They've seen thousands of hopefuls. Some are good. Some are great. Very few are unforgettable. The music starts, soft and steady, and the kid closes his eyes. That's when it happens. The first note comes out, rich and warm, with a depth that doesn't match his years. The room shifts. A few people lean forward. Someone in the audience gasps, not loudly, just enough to say, "Wait, what?" He doesn't imitate. He inhabits. Every lyric carries weight, every pause feels intentional. His voice trembles at first, not from fear, but from emotion, like he's opening a door he's kept shut for too long. He remembers singing this same song in a cramped living room, pretending a broomstick was a microphone while his neighbors listened through thin walls. He remembers practicing after school instead of playing outside, because music felt like a promise he couldn't break. Halfway through, confidence blooms. He lifts his chin, lets the notes soar, and suddenly the kid isn't small anymore. He's commanding the stage. The judges' expressions change, eyebrows raised, lips parted, eyes shining. One of them taps the desk without realizing it. Another stops writing notes altogether. This isn't just talent, it's soul. But the real challenge comes when the song demands power. This is where many falter. The kid takes a breath, a long one, the kind you take when you're about to leap. And he delivers. The note rings out, strong and true, echoing through the theater like a declaration, "I belong here." The audience erupts, clapping in rhythm, cheering him forward. For the first time, he smiles mid-song, a quick flash of disbelief and joy, as if he can't quite believe they're cheering for him. In the final verse, his voice softens again, tender and vulnerable. You can hear his story in it, the sacrifices, the quiet nights, the belief that maybe, just maybe, this stage could be the beginning of something bigger. When the last note lands, it doesn't rush away. It hangs there, shimmering, before silence takes over. And then the explosion. The crowd is on its feet. The judges stand too, one of them wiping away tears they didn't expect to shed. The kid looks stunned, eyes wide, hands shaking again, but this time with joy. He bows, small and sincere, as if thanking everyone for listening. The feedback is gentle but powerful. They talk about bravery. About authenticity. About how rare it is to hear a voice that feels honest. One judge tells him that talent opens doors, but heart keeps them open, and that what he showed today was heart in its purest form. Another reminds him that this moment is proof that dreams don't care where you come from, they only care how hard you're willing to fight for them. Backstage later, the kid calls his parents. His mother cries. His father laughs through tears. They don't talk about fame or trophies. They talk about how proud they are, how far he's already come, how the world heard what they always believed. And here's the thing, you didn't just watch a performance. You witnessed a reminder. That greatness can come from the smallest places. That courage sounds like a kid singing his heart out in front of strangers. That sometimes, all it takes is one song to turn doubt into belief. If this story moved you, if you felt that spark when he hit that note and the room changed, don't let it end here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us, because there are more moments like this, more voices waiting to be heard, and more stories that prove dreams are worth chasing. Somewhere right now, another kid is holding a microphone with shaking hands, hoping the world will listen. And because you're here, because you believe, maybe it will. The crowd is still talking when his name is called, but the noise slowly fades as a small boy walks onto the stage. He looks almost lost in the wide space, the lights bigger than him, the microphone standing like a challenge he has to face. For a second, he just stands there, breathing, listening to his own heartbeat. This is the moment he imagined 1,000 times, usually late at night, when the world was quiet and dreams felt louder than fear. If you stay till the end of this story, you'll understand why this wasn't just an audition, it was a turning point. He introduces himself softly, with a shy smile that hides years of struggle. At home in the Philippines, life wasn't easy. Some days were bright with laughter, others heavy with worry. Music became his safe place. When things felt too hard to say, he sang instead. Old songs filled the house, especially the ones his parents loved, and among them was Elvis. Not because it was trendy, but because it felt real. Strong, emotional, fearless. He learned every word, every rise and fall, singing into cracked mirrors and empty rooms, dreaming of a stage like this. The judges listened politely at first. They've heard many kids, many big dreams. No one expects what comes next. The music begins, slow and familiar. The stage suddenly goes dark, and the noise of the crowd slowly melts into silence. The judges sit up straight in their chairs, sensing that something important is about to happen. Then a soft voice announces a name, and a small Filipino boy walks onto the stage. He wears a nervous smile, his eyes filled with dreams, his heart carrying a story no one in this room has heard yet. In this moment, no one knows that the next few minutes are about to change his life forever. He stops in front of the microphone. The lights focus on him. He takes a deep breath. And in that exact second, his mind travels back home, to a small room, old posters on the walls, and a worn-out radio playing songs late into the night. For him, Elvis Presley was never just a singer. Elvis was a path, an escape, a source of strength. After long school days, when people told him that big dreams were only for rich kids, he would listen to those songs and feel powerful again. The judges smile politely, curious but unsure. To them, this looks like another cute audition. The music begins. And with the very first note, the entire hall changes. This boy isn't just singing, he's feeling every word. There is pain in his voice, courage in his tone, and a quiet confidence that only comes from someone who has faced real struggles. The audience starts looking at each other. Eyes widen. Mouths fall open in disbelief. The judges' expressions shift from curiosity to shock. This voice feels far bigger than the small body it's coming from. With every lyric, he tells his story, poverty, hard work, and the nights he promised himself that one day, the world would hear him. Midway through the song, his voice trembles for a moment. Maybe the emotions hit too hard. Maybe he misses home. But then he opens his eyes, looks toward the judges, and keeps going. This is the moment the audience connects, because everyone knows what it feels like to almost give up and to push forward anyway. Then comes the high note. The entire hall goes silent. He gathers all his strength and lets it out. And when he hits it, the room explodes. Thunderous applause. People jump to their feet. The judges stand as well. Some have tears in their eyes, others pure disbelief on their faces. This wasn't just a performance, this was a statement, I belong here. The song ends. The boy bows slightly. His hands are shaking, but this time not from fear, from happiness. The judges praise him, but the most powerful words come when one of them says, "You didn't just sing today. You made us feel something." Backstage, he calls his mother. There is silence on the other end, then crying. Happy tears. This moment doesn't belong to just one child, it belongs to an entire family who never stopped believing. All those struggles suddenly feel worth it. And for the people watching from the other side of the screen, this becomes a reminder. That talent can come from anywhere. That age, money, and background don't decide your future. What matters is the fire inside you, the passion that refuses to let you quit. If you saw your own dream in this story, if you felt hope in this boy's voice, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and be part of this journey. Because today, a Filipino kid stunned the judges by singing Elvis, and tomorrow, it could be you or someone just like you standing on that stage, chasing a dream the world is finally ready to hear. The moment the lights fade, something in the air changes. Conversations stop mid-sentence. Phones lower. Even the judges seem to pause, as if instinct tells them to pay attention. A name is called, soft but clear, and from the side of the stage a young Philippine.